Welcome back to the podcast where we ask the question, what makes you happy? Our guest today is described as honest, resilient, and a goal-orientated speaker and jockey. Today we have with us Leigh Woodgate from Moorabbin, Victoria, Australia. It is a pleasure to have you with us, Leigh.
Thank you so much, Jake. It's a pleasure to be asked to speak on your podcast.
Super excited to talk about all things that make you happy today, Leigh. Would you mind sharing your story of what led you to where you are now?
I was born and bred on a small property up in Far East Gippsland called Buchan. Riding, I've always ridden a big part of my life. I went to pony club, did show jumping, then on to bush racing, and then on to jumps racing. And 28 years ago, on the 1st of July 1994, I was riding for the trainer Eric Musgrove, a very good trainer who I knew in show jumping. And my horse knuckled on landing. I fell off and broke nearly every bone in my body. I was in a coma for 17 days and wheelchair 2.5 years, and I'm still improving to this day. I'm now walking independently, living independently, back riding track work after 15 years, and I run a small farm with Angus cows on it up in Far East Gippsland, and I do inspirational speaking.
Yeah, and coming from that horrific fall, being in a coma, being wheelchair bound, and being able to get your independence back after all this time, what does make you happy now, Leigh?
Riding, and I love talking to people and inspiring people and just letting them know never give up and always find a way. There's always a way to do it, and it's just a matter of trying and finding that way.
I hope you don't mind me asking, but was there ever a point where you didn't feel like you were ever gonna walk again?
I asked the doctor, I said, is my spine broken? And he said, no, Leigh. I said, I'll walk. And I always had that determination, but I don't know what I would have said, because I think I would have found a way. If he said your spine was broken, I think I would have said, well, there's got to be a way. So, yeah, and I've always looked on the positive of everything.
You've been through one of the toughest experiences you could ever be through or go through, and you've come out the other end and you go, I am so fortunate that happened to me. If you don't mind me asking, what was your relationship with your dad like?
My dad was always hard on me. He always had to. He said to me, you were my favourite till the accident. Now you're the biggest disappointment of my life. And that makes you realise you're on your own, and you can't afford to get bitter, because bitterness eats you up and it takes so much energy and so much time. You've just got to get on with it. And as I said, you can't afford to get bitter. If you get bitter on people that say the wrong thing to you or you take it the wrong way, what's your life going to be like? You're never going to be happy. Never. You're always going to be sad. And life's too short. We're here for a minuscule moment on earth. And why not make the most of it?
And that's just how scary time is when you think about it, right? I remember, like it was yesterday, I was 12 years old sitting on the couch watching a movie, and now I'm getting on to 27. I'm like, well, where did those 15 years go? What the hell? I remember wanting to finish high school, and all of a sudden it's 10 years past high school and now I have a house. I'm like, wow, it passes you by. And I'm of the opinion that you can choose how you react to the world around you. You can be bitter, like you said, or you can be optimistic and go, right, I've got to get on with it. I need to do something here, or I'm going to be sad, I'm going to be lonely, nothing's going to happen for me, right?
Yep. You're just going to get stuck in a rut.
Yeah. So if I was to ask you for one clear message for our listeners, what would you want them to take from this conversation today?
Do what you want to do and find a way. Find a way to do it. You might have to try 10 different ways to make a game with whatever you do, but there's always a way. You can find the way.
Lovely. That's what we challenge you listeners and you watchers on YouTube to do. If you can't find one way to do something, write down your goal and think of the different ways and patterns, and if one doesn't work, cross it off and try the next one. But be relentless in your pursuit for your goal. Whatever you want to achieve, don't give up just because one way hasn't worked. make it happen. Leigh, thank you so much for sharing all things that make you happy and your lovely story. And I'm super, even though we've just met, I'm super proud of you, and I'm so happy for you that you've made it this far. You've pushed forward through those challenges, and it's incredible to hear you speak about what you've been through today. So thank you so much on behalf of all our listeners around the world. Thanks for listening to the podcast. We hope it gives you something to think about on your quest to discover what makes you happy. Make sure to check out whatmakesyouhappypodcast.com to connect with today's guest and follow us on all our social media platforms, and to stay up to date at what's happening next at What Makes You Happy. Don't forget to share this episode with a friend, and we'll see you next time.